The modern world is full of scammers and con artists. It's a sad truth, but a fascinating one all the same. From cold callers to Nigerian princes.
He didn't wanna look racist, so he picked the palest fucker he could find.
Bro, that's worse.
There really is a niche for every kind of twat. But what if I told you there exists a con above all other cons?
Processing level of stranger danger. Acceptable.
Best sister ever.
A scam artist so incredibly lucky and talented in coasting through life that he wound up serving as a top Navy surgeon. Welcome to the story of Ferdinand Waldo Demara. Ferdinand Waldo Demara, known locally to his friends as Fred, had what many would call a privileged childhood. Wait, so we're just glossing over the fact that a guy known for hiding in plain sight was called fucking Waldo? Yes we are. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner Kanye will finally remove his cybernetic faceplate and reveal his true self to the greater public. Having an uncle that owned most of the theatres in town, young Fred likely had a few friends to boot. Yet, as with all good things, in sweeps the Great Depression, and just like that, the Demara family are forced to move across the city to a less favourable home.
Mom, you didn't have to sell Ferdinand.
He was a basic lil biatch and he knew it. Gobble gobble.
Thus begins a story so crazy you'll think I just made it up. Feeling a little more than frustrated with his family's current situation, young Fred makes a rash decision. After waiting for the opportune moment, he packs up his bags and runs away from the family home. Where to? To become a Trappist monk, of course.
He's beginning to believe.
If that wasn't perfectly obvious already. Sadly, however, after a whopping 2 years of dedicated service, it's decided little Fred simply isn't fit for the job. So instead, he moves to the Brothers of Charity Boys Home near Montreal, Canada. Then over to the Boys Home in West Newbury, Massachusetts. There, Fred settles down for a while, teaching 4th grade lessons and coasting by with relative ease.
You ain't gonna become a con artist, right?
No.
But isn't that something a con artist would say?
No.
Well, that's enough proof for me. Now go be alone with children.
Well, I lied because he's actually just run away again. I'm sensing a pattern. Are you sensing a pattern? 1941 arrives and oh fuck me, this Austrian guy's a bit of a prick. Freddy on the other hand has just decided to join the army. I wonder how things will go for our boy. A life riddled with danger and intrigue amongst the forces perhaps. Well, he's just renamed himself Anthony Ignolia. And he's just packed up again and gone AWOL. Wait, what? Yep, did I also mention that he's now a Trappist monk again? This time at the Abbey of Our Lady Gethsemane Monastery in Kentucky. I'm starting to think that the bar for entry at these monasteries plateaus just around basic sentience.
Hey, Ellen, what's your favorite Pokemon game?
Emerald.
Lamau. 6 slavery burn babe.
The conning, my friends, officially starts now. At least it will if Fred doesn't meet the real Anthony Ignolia, a fellow Trappist buddy, that very same day. Yeah, that's what happens next. After returning to his family home, Anthony, finds himself in a bit of a pickle. His dad, on the other hand, simply requests that his son turn himself in to the military police, ASAP. Big dick energy right out the gate from Daddy Demara. To this, Anthony proposes a simple and efficient answer.
No.
I'll just join the Navy instead. So he does, and it actually bloody works. After training his way up the ranks as a hospital corpsman, he then goes on to live a long, fruitful, and truly honest life. Well, that's what might have happened, but our boy instead decides to give up, fakes his own death, and becomes Mr. Robert Linton French. Some time passes, and young Anthony has only gone and become a religion-oriented psychologist. He then makes his way to another monastery in Arkansas. So this is the end, right? He's finally managed to pull off a con that actually worked. Nope, because he's just been summoned into the abbot's office for doing a shitty job at forging his documents.
This just says me a good boy in crayon.
He then packs up and legs it before anybody can call the cops. 2 churches later, and after another flurry of accusations, the world's luckiest failure moves to New Jersey. Here he joins the Paulist Initiative in Oak Ridge. Then, well, things start to get a bit weird. After realizing that religion just isn't for him.
Why are you like this, Fred?
Low-key religion kinda mid though, no cap.
Wes Wally manages to land himself a job teaching psychology in Erie, Pennsylvania. He also somehow manages to become Dean of Psychology at the school, because fuck it, we're operating on Clown World rules now apparently. Sadly, however, his old friend Lady Forgery rolls her smudged ass up at the worst time. See, it turns out that Fred's been forging checks, and you guessed it, it's time he ran away again. 2 further churches later, and oh no, Freddy hears a knock at the door. Who could it be? It's only the FB fucking I. An 18-month sentence at a naval disciplinary barracks over in San Pedro, California follows. And sadly that brings us to the end of, wait, no, there's even more. He's just been released from prison and instantly undertaken yet another false identity. What's next, I hear you ask?
Is it another church?
A degree in law, of course, followed by another job in another goddamn church.
I fucking knew it.
While working at the Brothers of Christian Instruction, Scammy McWaldo-Face befriends a chipper Canadian surgeon called Joe.
What's wrong with your legs?
I'm not a good surgeon.
Thus, Waldo being Waldo, he decides to steal Joe's identity and masquerade as a motherfucking surgeon now. And yes, this is 100% going where you think it's going. A hop, skip, and a triple bypass later, and not Joe is serving as a trauma surgeon aboard the HMCS Cayuga. Well, honestly, that's a little bit impressive, let's be honest. Still, since the Korean War is currently taking place, he's improvising actual legitimate operations on the fly. Though most of his work boils down to feeding people a shit ton of penicillin. Well, at least it's finally over. Nope, not a chance. 16 combat injuries have just been thrown aboard, and all eyes are on Wacky Waldo and his slippery scalpel. Surely this is his time to give up, right? He can't go ahead with this. You'd think so, wouldn't you? You really bloody would. But this is our boy we're talking about here. He orders his fellow seamen to prep the operating room, then runs to his bunk with a surgical textbook in hand. There he proceeds to speedrun at nigh Olympian levels. Next he performs each and every one of the surgeries, and nobody dies. Nobody. So impressive is this feat that a newspaper even picks up on the story. Oh, and Joe's mother just so happens to be reading this very same newspaper. You remember Joe, right? The actual one true Joe. Feeling a little pissed off at the discovery of somebody else using his name, Joe starts making calls, and it isn't long before news of Fred's antics reaches the seafaring Cayuga. So how does the Canadian Navy respond to such a terrible, downright deadly abuse of power?
Should have told him I'm deaf, fellow L.
They walk right up to Waldo, slap him on the wrist and say, "That'll do, pig, that'll do." Yep, he walks away scot-free and is forced to return to the US without so much as a fine. And that about wraps up the tale of Ferdinand Waldo Demara, or the exciting parts at least. A conman for the ages, a scammer with seemingly infinite luck, and proof that background checks were really once as complex as asking your gran if you truly are a handsome boy. I've been Forgotten Legends, and until next time, take care.